Well, finally back from beach vacation, and what's the first thing we stumble upon but yet another beach? There will be no Corona in line today, no fun in the sun, salsa, siestas, or shots of tequila. The Isle of the Crimson Skull, the G's are out in force because it's Greasus Goldtooth and Grimgor the Greenskin ready for a smackdown of epic proportions, and it's going to get violent. We're about to find out who the biggest, baddest boss in all the land truly is. Very interesting matchup in terms of thematics and tactics. The Ogres will try and force the issue with their Hunter hero on a Stonehorn, very powerful unit against Greenskins, and the Wa will attempt to counter it with Immunopsychology from the Black Orc Big Boss to combat one of their biggest weaknesses. The Hunter Stonehorn combo is stupid good, you all know that by now. The Nobbler Thief Stone giving such a tanky monster stock and 15% ward save is just a bit cracked. It combines that with some utility from the Bang Stick and Crippling Throw. Greenskins have a lot of ways to slow, pin down, and pin cushion the Stonehorn, but there's no question it's a dangerous unit for them to deal with, and if it's left unchecked, it is a serious issue. Now Greasus, the fat piece of crap that he is leading the Ogre army with his Over Tyrant's Crown, granting damage resist and immune psychology in an AoE. Everyone has their price, and the Scepter of Titans to give him the edge in what feels like an inevitable duel between him and Grimgor Ironhide. But the question is, does he actually have an edge there? And I'd argue, probably not. He's still wonky, slow, and generally not very good, but that doesn't mean he can't sometimes make epic plays, so perhaps he has a few tricks up his sleeve this battle. He'll be supported by Man-Eater Pistols, Gorgers, Ogre Bulls, and a Caster of the Great Maw. We're going to run over what will be a nice and balanced build from Grimgor and the Greenskins here. Spider Rider Skirmishers out front, Gobos, Big Guns, Air Boys, and Black Orcs, with Big Guns being a fantastic choice against Ogres, because they'll beat just about any of their units in a straight-up melee grind because of that innate bonus versus large. Grimgor himself has Your Next, Gitsnick, and Best of the Best, without question a better duelist than Greasus, and should beat him in a straight duel, which will get even scarier when Black Orcs and a Big Boss are mixed in. And there's even a Giant River Troll Hag over on the Greenskin right flank, Spirit Leech, Overwhelming Odor, and Mither, which will be a great way to slow down the rampage of that Stonehorn. And I think a lot of people think of this as the best hero caster in the Greenskins arsenal, and Mither is a big part of that. That slow is really useful against a big scary monster trying to rampage through your back line. Might just give Grimgor and his goons time to lay down the beatdown when it decides to dive in. So those are the builds. Let's get into the action. Skirmishers moving up in the front ranks right now, and they have a plethora of targets to fire into. Ideally, they'd be best suited shooting into the Man-Eater Pistols or dual weapon Ogre Bulls. Any of those units without Iron Fist, without a missile block chance, ward save, or innate missile resist, probably what you want to fire into. Problem with shooting the Stonehorn is that it's where Troll Guts and Butcher are almost always going to be sent, so any plunking away you do is going to be nullified anyway. That's not even counting the missile resist or armor that Stonehorns have, so Man-Eater Pistols are probably a better target, but they can actually zone out the Spiders effectively anyway, and Spiders have taken 11 losses thus far. They were forced to beat the Retreat Horn and move out of range. Gobos and Noblars should be quite the interesting fight between cousins. I'm not sure who actually wins that. I would think Gobos do because they have that Wa, and as soon as that activates, they should be able to cut their way through, but it's kind of irrelevant. They're both really cheap. Meat shields are not supposed to do a whole lot besides be fodder and get run over by big scary monsters like the Stonehorn, who's coming in and has always had one of the most terrifying charges in the setting. And boom! Center of their formation completely carved apart. Dual weapon Ogres coming in behind, and that should be terror route imminent for the Gobos on the right flank and might break things open for the Ogre aggression over there. In the center, Greasus Goldtooth with his Over Tyrant's Crown, leading the Ogre Bulls into the heart of this Greenskins Wa. But Grimgor has eyes on him, and guess what? You're next, the big boss, and Grimgor Ironhide, the biggest, the meanest, the greenest, going in for the duel, and Black Orcs are following up close behind. So I think this is the right call if you're the Greenskins. You're not really going to be able to effectively catch the Stonehorn until it's forced to commit, so you might as well go for the slower, easier target, get rid of that immunopsychology on the Ogre line, and if you can somehow kill Greasus and ensure that he's dead, well then the middle of this Ogre army is going to have a pretty difficult time dealing with Grimgor and the big boss. Now over here there's a Saber-Tusk pack, and though it's just trying to do a little bit of poking and prodding, the downside to doing that with any of these Saber-Tusk units is that they rampage really easily, so it will not be able to disengage, and that means it won't be able to put any pressure on the back line, which means Air Boys and the Spider Riders should have a lot more time to fire in and perhaps get rid of this Stonehorn, or at least focus fire down some of the monstrous infantry. Gorgers have decided to commit as the Bang Stick rains down. Not really sure what the point of that thing is, honestly. Like, it seems to wave clear a little bit, but it seems more of an escape tool than anything that actually deals damage, despite the rather impressive visual spectacle that it can unleash. Oh, Greasus is not in a good spot right now at all. Scepter of Titans is activated, but Grimgor has Getsnick down, and it looks like the Ogre reinforcements and second wave will have to commit to give him a little bit of space, although the Ogre Bulls there kind of left him on an island. They could have come in and reinforced their lord. Instead, they decided to avoid him entirely. Wah is activated. Saber-Tusk pack waiting in reserve. Now smell blood in the water, plunging into the thick of the action, perhaps diving through to get into those Air Boys in the rear. Greasus Goldtooth is continuing to hang on, but he doesn't have a lot of help right now, and Spirit Leech is not making things any easier. And now the Greenskin Cavalry, the Boar Boy Big Guns, have moved into a flanking position. Maneater Pistols are waiting, and it looks like they might be able to cover, but the Black Orcs have carved their way through the center. Greasus escaped, and he's going to be okay. But the Greenskins are looking very strong in the middle and on their left flank, while things are opening up for the Ogre Kingdoms on their left. The Stonehorn diving into the Air Boys in the rear, and that terror is going to be a major factor. The positioning of this monster is always so important, but the question is, can Grimgor and the Black Orc Big Boss shadow it, perhaps nullify its morale shocks enough so that Mither and the stacking slows from poison, and of course those AP Choppas, can finish the job. For now, Gorgers feasting on the Greenskin skirmish contingent. They're in their element and making life very difficult for the Greenskins back there, but the Boar Boy Big Guns have charged in. Maneater Pistols will receive that charge. Greasus Goldtooth is nearby. Saber-Tusk overlapping the engagement, and that might just set up for the Iron Fist of a vengeful god. Bone Crusher would be real nice in this situation. We'll see if it comes down from the lore of the Great Maw Caster. Dismember will be the first to hit them to slow them down and prevent their escape, and then, yes indeed, the Iron Fist will rain down. But honestly, the Big Guns were already dead. That cavalry unit was already dead. The Maneater Pistols made very good account of themselves there, backed up by Greasus and the Saber-Tusk pack. Meanwhile, Stonehorn is exactly where it wants to be, tying down the archers, ripping through infantry, and with the backup from the Gorgers coming in, I don't think those archers are going to be around for very long. That is a brutal fight for them, and they will be feasted upon by the monstrous Mountains of Morn combo. That 1-2 slamma-jamma, you will not escape. Stonehorn's going to break your bones open, and the Gorgers will feast on that marrow. Greasus Goldtooth is surrounded by Black Orcs. This is a very bad situation for him. He must have had a Troll Gut sent his way, because he's topped off. He did take some damage in that initial fight with Grimgor, and that is one advantage the Ogres do have in this fight. They have access to healing for their most important single entities, while the Greenskins do not. Only the Giant River Troll Hag and its regen gives the Greenskins a little bit of healing here. Lore of the Great Maw Caster is surrounded, but I think the Ogre Bulls with the rear charge should be able to free him from his fleshy prison. Crippling throw to slow down the Big Guns and Black Orcs and prevent them from closing in to help out the remainder of their cavalry. Greasus is in a bad spot though, so the Hunter and the Stonehorn coming in to at least try to give him a little bit of space, but Greasus might be dead here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to escape from this one now. Not with this many Choppas around him, not with all that mass, and with Grimgor slowing him down with your next, and of course, the Mither from the Giant River Troll Hag. That's not going to allow the famously sluggish Over Tyrant to escape. But then again, maybe we shouldn't write him off quite so early. The Greenskin Infantry isn't actually going for the full surround right now. They've moved off, and a few of them have even terror routed, or at least broken off because of all the morale shocks they've taken. You're next, slowing down Greasus, and he was hit by Mither about 30 seconds or so ago, so perhaps he will be okay, at least for the moment. But the problem is, when you turn your flank like this, he's just so slow. His melee defense is essentially dropping to 0, and his health is dropping quite quickly as well. So he may need to just go back in and toss his weight around now that he has the help from that hunter. But the big boss is full HP. Grimgor is half HP and just took a nasty antler smash, tusk smash, whatever the hell you want to call it, from the Stonehorn. Greasus is dropping super quick though, and that duel might go in the Greenskins' favor. Scepter of Titans, the bonus plus large, isn't going to help him here because the big boss isn't on a boar. Both of them are foot characters, but a timely Troll Guts from the Butcher might just keep Greasus in the fight. Grimgor moving away from the Stonehorn, which is absolutely the right call. Greasus' health back up over 3,000 after that cast, but Grimgor back into the action. Greasus really should just stay and fight at this point. If he dies, he dies. Ivan Drago approved. I lied. I thought he was going to be over 3,000 health. He's taking so many hits here. The big boss and Grimgor did not miss, and he's dead. Greasus is just gonna straight up die here. So the Butcher is coming back into melee. Stonehorn is still in good shape. Yeah, I think the big boss is gonna finish him off. He's 454 HP remaining. Grimgor is rounding off, and if the Stonehorn is smart, he will chase that legendary lord over to the edge of the map. Big Iron Fist about to come down. It'll smash into the center of these air boys and should see them off. They'll feel the wrath of the Tenderizer, but Spirit Leech from the Giant River Troll Hag continuing to plunk away at these hero characters, and it's really smart. Get rid of the magic first, and then you can focus everything on the Stonehorn. I don't think there's any question the Hunter will be one of the last things remaining. It has already had a Butcher from the army ability sent its way, so it's gotten some healing, and it might be able to get some more as we move into the later stages of this battle. We're 7.5 minutes in. Unbreakable Gorgers, making sure those archers do not return, and they might be able to just shut down this entire section of the map by cyclocharging all these units as they return. If Big Guns or Black Orcs come in to reinforce alongside Grimgor, they might be able to take them down. In fact, a point-blank volley from the Air Boys is actually dealing quite a bit of damage to those Gorgers. Perhaps they won't be able to finish off all these units, but Grimgor is super low. Stonehorn chose not to pursue him and instead came back to deal with the Giant River Troll Hag and perhaps try to keep his mage on the field, which isn't necessarily the wrong call. Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist taking the brunt of some Spider Rider skirmish fire, and I hope they don't have arachnophobia because the poisonous monsters are charging in and nibbling on their toesies. Here, I think the Gorgers will fall, despite their unbreakable nature. They might be able to cause these Big Guns to run, but there won't be any models remaining after a few more shots from those Air Boys. So that's a big deal, actually. That'll open up stuff for Grimgor and for the remainder of the skirmishers, maybe some infantry to make their way back into the fight. Greasus is being hounded to the edge of the map by Spider Riders. Hunter is chasing after the low morale on that Giant River Troll Hag, and it looks like a heal. Perhaps a Butcher. I think a Butcher was just sent its way. Yeah, that's a big heal. That's like a 22% heal, I think. That's going to pretty much get that Stonehorn back up to full. Another Bang Stick. I believe that is its third use. Nicely dodged. Spider Riders managed to get out of the way. Man-Eater Pistols just broke off, and both armies are just in tatters, except for this very scary Hunter and Stonehorn combo. But the Black Orc Big Boss is still online and still relatively healthy. Grimgor is coming back. The Big Guns are coming back. And with the backup from the Spider Riders and a full surround off on this Stonehorn, we've seen much bigger swings. Taking this thing down will not be easy, but with abilities like You're Next and enough bodies, if the Spider Riders return and get a full surround, this could be bad news bears for the Hunter and his pet Stonehorn. Get Snick. Plus 24 melee attack, big time debuffs on that single entity monster. Might have engaged too early with Grimgor though. Ideally, you'd want to have the fodder charge in first and soak up all the damage, and then you'd have Grimgor follow up so he can't get charged, and that could be a potentially game-losing mistake. I think they're going to really want Grimgor in these late-game duels if they want to take down the beast. Dual weapon Ogre Bulls. Definitely going to be overwhelmed here by the Big Gun and Spider Rider combo. Spider Riders in these kind of late game scenarios, really good. Having those poison debuffs and just bodies to surround something, super helpful. Would have been even better if they had managed to surround the Stonehorn before Grimgor charged in so it didn't take the brunt of that stampeding, avalanche-causing charge. And if you're the Greenskins here, the important thing is to just pull away from the monster, and start, oh wow, the Giant River Troll Hag returned. The Stonehorn didn't chase him off the map either, so Spirit Leeches now coming into the play too. This is getting really interesting. So you want to consolidate your forces if you're the Greenskins. No reason to go in piecemeal. He will continue to route your stuff off one by one. Allow your stuff to return, consolidate your forces, and then take one good engagement to finish off this battle. That is really your only chance, because if you keep going in piecemeal, stuff will continue to route, and eventually they're just going to shatter, and you're not going to be able to come back from that one. So Bosmar almost back to dead even. Stonehorn and Hunter combo was super pissed about the River Troll Hag returning. Myther slowed it down, but it still has more than enough mobility to catch up to the Troll. And the Greenskins are returning to the fold, just really far away, kind of on the horizon right now. So ideally, you want to get all this stuff over here and protect that River Troll Hag, because she has regen, and if she's given a couple minutes, she could get to the point where it's really difficult for the Stonehorn to kill her in only a couple attacks. But at the moment, oh, she just shattered. That's a big loss. That is a big loss for the Greenskins here. But they've got some archers, they've got gobbos, they've got spider riders, and they still have the big boss at 2/3 health. Da Fishy Tittle Muncha was just demolished. Hunter out of ammunition now, and they're staring into the cold orbs, the lifeless eyes of a freakish, hellish monstrosity. How do you kill this thing? Can you take down the Stonehorn? Do they have enough? Hunter's doing the right thing and playing keep away from the big boss, and that is its biggest problem right now, lacking mobility. If it was on a board, this might be an entirely different battle, because he'd be able to catch up and continuously fight him, and more than that, he wouldn't have to worry about the bonus versus infantry from the Stonehorn at all. Wa has activated for either the second or third time this battle, I'm not sure. But as the Greenskins continuously charge in and try to take down the monster, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. I think they're running out of steam here. Rest of the infantry, rest of the cavalry are disappearing. The big boss is on slivers, and army losses is going to kick in. This is going to be the end of the battle. And that's, oh, he's just styling on him now, dude. He just threw him like 50 feet. But he's rallying. It's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. You're just gonna get run over. I'm trying to be inspirational for the poor guy. But he was trying to inspire his line the entire battle. He did a damn good job of it. But I actually think if he was on a board, that could have been a different game. He just wasn't on target enough that battle. He wasn't able to stay on the Stonehorn and continue chunking in. And yeah, maybe if he was on a board, he would have gotten hit more too. And maybe a Stonehorn would have beaten him in a duel straight up anyway. I'm not really sure. But I think with some psycho charging on a board, that could have potentially changed things. So, I mean, the Stonehorn was amazing on the Hunter, like 3,600 damage value, incredible. Greasus really didn't do super great. He got some good hits on Grimgor, but just not able to take on a big boss and Ironhide combination. The Gorgers were awesome. 1,000 damage value on them, 155 kills. Man-Eaters were 2,000 damage value on them. That's actually really impressive considering they didn't really fight anything super high value except for the Giant River Troll Hag, which I assume is where they got the majority of their value, actually. They got some good shots in on the Spider Riders, too. Grimgor was great, 2,600 damage value on him. Chunked through Greasus and got some good hits on the Stonehorn as well. But really, the big difference in this battle, I think, just came down to the healing. And the Troll Guts and the Butcher giving that Stonehorn those huge bursts of HP just completely changed the complexion of how things were shaping up. And the fact that Stonehorn, after all it took, was still at half health at the end is pretty crazy. You're not going to kill it very often. Usually it's just getting that full surround and rout, and they could have done that if they were maybe a little bit more patient in that final fight when Grimgor showed up. Hope you guys enjoyed.